Okay, I'll try to make it look less like I'm reading, but it's still gonna look that way. Well, our generation is consuming more visuals than any generation before us. Hundreds of videos and images pass by our eyes every day. Most of what lands on our For You page is well lit, well composed, and optimized for the platform. And yet somehow we scroll past most of it without feeling anything. That's not a coincidence. That's the result of a very long process of deciding what serious visual work looks like. A process that started way before the algorithm, and one that the algorithm is now running at a scale nobody could have predicted. Today, we're getting into that history, what it means for visual culture right now, and what it actually looks like to push back against it as a working creative. Our guest today is Anna Barros, a Vienna-based photographer and creative director of Anna Barros Studio.
Hi.
Okay. Hi. Okay, so before we get into it, can you introduce yourself and what you do? And tell us
Hi.
what you do.
Thank you so much for having me. As you said perfectly, Anna Barros, thank you for, for
Yay.
it's something that as an immigrant is always very interesting to see how our persona, how our identity shifts between people that we talk to. I moved to Vienna as an architect. So I studied architecture in Portugal and in Germany, Darmstadt, where I also studied photography in my master's. I moved to Vienna to work on a really big project that took for almost 5 years. And by the end of it, I was already quite big on Instagram, and it was something I didn't plan. I just came into the good side of the algorithm and on the community managers from the app. So I was basically pushed from Instagram itself, which I'm very thankful for. I created a big platform, and by the end of that big project, I was working as an influencer, which didn't exist that term back in 2014, 15. So we were not even content creators. We just called each other lucky bastards. We were an international group of lucky bastards that were had a lot of followers in this new platform and were traveling around for brands, and I was one of those. And I did that for a couple of years. It was hard to tell my parents back then that I left architecture to do something that I couldn't explain what it was, but I wanted to try. And halfway through, I was invited by my ex-partner to actually start a creative agency in Vienna, which started in 2016. And that's when I turned this adventure into an actual company. And that was running quite successfully until COVID, which changed for
Wow.
everybody. But I left the creative agency in 2024, and since then I have been only focusing on architectural photography. Yeah, that's my retirement plan. That's what I love to do the most.
Wow, I love that. What agency was that? Like, what did you do?
So it was called BTTR. It still exists.
Mhm.
I just sold my shares. Um, it started with influencer marketing because that's where I had expertise that were unique because I was one of those and nobody was. So and every time I wanted to work with an influencer, I just called a friend that had a lot of followers in a different country because we used to travel together from different campaigns. So it was a very, very a big advantage that I had. So we was mostly an international agency based in Vienna because my work was very international. But as we grew, we started to apply for competitions, and slowly it started to be a normal 360 agency, a creative agency that basically solved communication problems and tried to help different type of clients. The last project I was part of and I directed was a TikTok novella. So it was a 26 episodes on TikTok to help hire more nurses for elderly people, and
I
also the
know
second,
that one.
yeah,
And
and the
yeah,
second
I was part of the
was
CCA. You had it like, you sent it in for an award, no?
Yeah,
I
with
feel like
the
I've
first
seen, yeah.
the first season, we won a couple of awards, and it was
Yeah, I liked
successful.
it a lot.
And
Yeah, yeah, I liked it a lot. I advocated for it. I remember that, if I can say
amazing.
that out
So
loud.
the
I'm not
second
sure if I'm under NDA, but well,
well,
whatever.
it's already done, CCA. So it basically was my yeah, I think I did my job. This was very successful. I actually we were very successful also in terms of the goals of the campaign. So 300% more people applied for the job.
Wow.
And therefore we had then a second season. I was not directing anymore, but I was able to help create a full female production company, a production team. And the goal was to hire more Kinderbetreuung, so teachers for the kindergarten, and mostly male because it's a very female job, and we wanted to be more balanced in terms of gender, and so we had a male actor, and my daughter was also part of the cast.
Nice. Cute.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
think a third season is coming because I saw on Instagram,
yeah.
but I'm not part of it anymore.
Okay. I'm not sure which season I saw them, but I remember it because it really stayed with me. I thought it was a really good idea. I really
Yeah.
liked it.
It was
Yeah,
Nicht
that
Liebe Mary was the first one,
that one,
and the
yes, that one
second
I
one
saw.
was Alle lieben Ali.
No, the first one is what I saw. I really liked
Nicht
it.
Liebe Mary. Yeah, that one I
Yeah,
directed. Yeah. It was an
nice. Okay.
experimental one. We had a very tiny budget, and it was basically
Really?
friends experimenting together because that format was new for us. It was made in Korea, but none of it in Europe. So we were very
Yeah.
experimental with it.
Yeah, big okay, it's a little bit of a pivot or like a little sidetrack, but I heard that they got super popular in the meantime. Like
Yes,
there's like platforms that have like this what is it called? Like short not short stories, but
it's
like
called
in
micro series.
exactly. Yeah. That's what I saw. I read about it, that it got really popular. Well, okay, back on track.
Yeah,
So you
it's a lot.
said you so you said you were now you're doing architectural photography. What was your reason behind that decision to move away from like the influencer world? I mean, you're still on Instagram, you still have like your following, but like what made you move towards the photography instead of staying at the agency or staying in that world that you had kind of gained a lot of experience in?
Yeah. It's one question that I have different reasons, so maybe I can go to the different reasons. So why architectural photography? That's because it's the one thing I have been doing consistently since I finished my studies in architecture. So my channel has always been about architectural photography, even when I was working as a creative director. Somehow in the back of my mind, this was a master plan. This was like a long-term plan that will be my exit plan without even knowing.
Mhm.
Because that's the one thing that I love the most. And I'm also the most comfortable doing. And
Nice.
so right now, as I as I turn 40, not 41, I really enjoy doing a job that I fully know and I'm completely relaxed going into it. Being a creative director was really exciting because every single day and every single project was new. And I had to put new skills, learn new things, work with different people. So it was constantly getting out of my comfort zone, which was really, really, really exciting until I became a mother and I needed something to be stable in my life.
Well, I can imagine that.
Uh, yeah. So and also in terms of creative agency, a lot of things changed and my passion for it really faded away because I was very naive when I came to it because I didn't study it. I'm an architect. I just came as a creative neurodivergent person that's yeah, if I don't know something, I will research, dive into it, find YouTube tutorials, go on the internet, understand. I'm already on media, so I know what trends are. Like I don't have a script for how to solve a problem. I'm just a very curious person. Um, but I saw that things were just were not as creative as I dreamed about. And yeah, the commercial world, it is what it is. It's just not for me.
Mm. When you say it wasn't like creative enough, what do you mean by that? Because a lot of people, I think, imagine this job to be extremely creative.
No, no. maybe it was back in the days, but now we are basically controlled by numbers. Every client just wants results, and those results are it's like how many likes we have, how many new followers we have, and it's so strange for me because it's so abstract anyway. But that's the only way for them to feel safe in their job, that they are hitting, that they are hitting their goals and their deliverables, so that the boss is happy. And in the meantime, our concepts are stripped down to the things that already work.
Yeah.
And I have and my goal is constantly doing something new in life, in the way I live and in the way I work. And so I got really, really frustrated by the end of the my work as a creative director. I was just very, very thankful that a client like BAF supported us in such a new adventure as TikTok novella. And I thought, okay, I'm going to leave in this high because this is actually new, exciting. And after this, maybe it's going to come more of the same. So I'm done.
That's that's actually so real, because we had another guest on, and we talked a lot about creativity and like the value of
Mhm.
creativity. And it also had me thinking that what you said, like the metrics are what's controlling us, and also the creativity. I feel like back in the days we were allowed, or we could take more risks, and also clients encourage taking that risk. But now,
No,
since we
but
have like a
no one is taking risks right now, really. Not
yeah.
even, not even, you see that across the disciplines. It's not only in advertisement. You can see in interior design, in architecture, everybody is monochrome, everybody is
Mm,
minimalist, everything is quiet, everything is, everybody's well behaved. You know,
yeah.
the whole thing is being about fear of taking risks. And I don't follow that norm.
Yeah, I love that.
What do you think is the reason why, I mean, besides like the obvious capitalistic nature of everything, but like, what do you think is the reason why people are so scared to take risks, but also like, why is the creativity? I mean, that's also probably why creativity is getting lost and artistry is getting lost. So, what do you think the reason for that is?
Well, capitalism is for sure the main reason, no? Also because we can see politically how right is going, and right is control and suppression. And so we are being suppressed in the things that we see, in the things that we consume, and therefore the things that we aim for. How we, even our dreams have been suppressed lately. Um, and but also I think it has to do with this mass, the social media and the things we see are calculated, are manipulated by an algorithm, which in the end makes us all the same. And so and not everyone has the guts to be different because they feel lonely, and it's
Yeah.
easier to be like the others because then we belong. I I remember as a teenager in high school, we had so many different groups of different, we like different types of music that we relate to. We had different ringtones on our phone. We were doing, like there was so much about identity and so much about like the art department, the finance department, like we're all so expressive. And right now I live in front of a school and I see every single student dressed the same. And I think because they are exposed to the same information and they cannot
Yeah.
take decisions on their own. Yeah.
Yeah. That actually had me thinking. I remember it. We had like, I would say that's like different fractions. There's like people who listen to indie rock or listen to emo music, and you kind of saw it because it's the way you dress, it's the way you belong to a group more or less. And I mean, of course, since I'm not a teenager anymore, it's not something that I actively see. But now that you say it, also like the teenagers that I see on the Marihilferstrasse, which is like a big shopping street, um, yeah, they all look super similar.
Yeah.
Like, are they still emos? I mean, I'm sure there is like a small like there's a small percentage, I'm pretty sure, but are they still expressing themselves like we
Yeah.
used to when we were younger?
I asked my friends, like, because it's something that I'm really seeking for, is like, who do you think is are the new punks? Because
Yeah,
they are punks. They are anarchists. It's just, how
yeah.
do they look like now? Am
No
I
idea.
the new punk? You know? because,
Yeah,
because society needs them and they still exist. Cannot be that we are so suppressed that punks are not here anymore. They just
yeah,
look different. And I'm constantly asking my friends, who do you think is the new punk? Because I
yeah.
want to be friends with punks.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It really looks super similar. But you also like, since we're touching upon this topic, I think
Mm.
like now this is something new, but AI just really reflects that once again. When we like prompt something in AI and it gives you something, it's usually a very safe option. It's usually an option that's more or less plain and boring. It works. Most of it or a lot of it works that it like outputs, but that doesn't mean that it's really pushing any boundaries. Um, Maybe not every project needs like some boundary pushing. Maybe we can like discuss that, but I believe that whenever we stop pushing boundaries, we kind of like stop like really being experimental because we
100%.
just take what it like kind of gives us and maybe we change it a little bit, but we don't really like go above and beyond to think outside the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw someone wrote something about how AI is taking inspiration from like generic work, and because that's like what you see online is mostly generic, it all kind of looks the same, and then it's creating just more generic and mediocre work. So it's not actually adding any value or artistry to the creative field.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
I stopped being afraid. I was, until tried to figure out and make sense of it. Of course, I felt very anxious because I came from a place where being, again, like, I have always been naive. I was diagnosed with autism, so being naive has been a life saving for me because I did things that I shouldn't have done, but I did it. Being naive is my superpower, by the way. So when AI came over and I was still in the agency world, I thought, wow, this is so exciting. It's just like, okay, we have the same team, but I don't need to brief them on the boring parts of their job, and we can focus more on the creative part of the job. And and the consequence was that me as a creative director was just a dreamer, and then the other CEOs, mostly male, took that as like, oh, I need less people. And
mm,
I can only do,
clever.
and now the clients pay me the same and I don't need so many employees. And I'm like, oh, that's so boring. That's like the stupidest thing. But from the capitalistic perspective, I do understand everybody needs to survive. It's just from a creative point of view. And yeah, the role was being a creative director. So I was very focused on like how to get the most creativity out of this new tool, as I always did with every tool. Because I always knew all the tools. I was a creative director in a sense that I explored them, and then together with the creatives, I'm like, hey, if this is possible, what else could be possible, you know? And so I got really excited with AI, and very quickly I was just like, thankfully I left because this is not fun. Um, and yeah, and nowadays I'm gonna get more relaxed about it because I can see, I understand how it works, and I can really see that this now AI is now building AI. So already, so the new, I don't know if you heard, but the latest version of ChatGPT was made by ChatGPT. So it was the engineers
It's
prompt
already cannibalizing itself
Yeah.
already. I thought it's going to
So the
happen
engineers
sometime in the
left.
future.
They basically left the job. They quit because their last job was to prompt ChatGPT to create itself the new version. And like, oh my God, this is so scary. But then I thought, oh, so it got to the plateau even faster than I thought. They are
Yeah,
so
exactly.
like so hungry to like get things done, but they don't see the bigger picture, which means, yeah, now it's feeding on the same information. And if you are actually very creative and you have your own ideas, you become the hottest shit ever. because
Yeah.
everybody else is running on a system that doesn't create more information, is feeding off the same. So the average is now the rule.
Yeah. I think
Being
it's
exceptional doesn't sound so difficult at the moment.
it doesn't. And I think that the people who were less skilled or like less creative have like an easier entryway now into the creative world. But again, then people who don't start like pushing those boundaries, they will get kind of like stuck on that plateau, what you just mentioned, like the AI plateau. I really like that word now. It's kind of like so fitting. Um, when I think about like AI and the things it produces, whenever I see it on my feed, I get like irrationally not angry. I think angry is the wrong word, but I'm like, "Ugh," I'm getting annoyed by it. I'm like super annoyed by it. It doesn't spark anything in me. Sometimes I feel tricked by it, but it's like too real. And then I'm like, fuck, it tricked me. I thought it was real. And then I feel even more disappointed and even more annoyed. And and whenever I look at images, and maybe I'm in a bubble because it's not just me, I feel like, is that whenever I see those images, I feel kind of like it lacks soul. It doesn't evoke anything in me, like no feeling, nothing. Like I can see it and it's being like, maybe it's pretty. I don't deny that it can create pretty work and it can create beautiful work, but it kind of like leaves me like empty. I just go
Yeah.
past it. It doesn't do anything for me. Do you feel like first of all, do you feel the same? And second of all, would you agree that
Yes.
people feel like a bit spammed by it in a way, like that
Yeah.
they don't receive it well?
And it basically created something in me that I'm not just only irritated when I see this AI picture in terms of architecture now, to be specific, because my feed is mostly now design and architecture. When I see these incredible spaces, I'm like, I know that is AI because I know photography and I understand still what is AI, what is not. And as an architect, we always did renderings. So AI has been in the field for a long time. So we always you always did a rendering to show to the client how it could be. So now it's just faster to do it. But it's very, very real, the textures, everything. The thing is that now for the other type of work of what architectural photographers have been doing forever, which is photographing these perfect worlds, I'm also irritated by that because now I'm also irritated when actual pictures look like AI. So, and to be honest, it's just like I get irritated by it, but I also take it as a learning. I'm like, okay, that's not what I want to do with my work because that already exists in AI. So my job should be to create something that is real. And now it has been developing together with the architects. How can we still be on brand, but look less like a rendering, therefore less like an AI? But I have to say, like sometimes even I, with my experience with the visual recognition of what is real, what is not, sometimes for my own portfolio, I'm traveling and I go see a project that I saw and I need to call before to ask if it's real or if it's a rendering. I was about to fly to Georgia, no, to Albania because there's an incredible new spa and and then I texted a friend and she's like, no, this is a rendering. I'm like, what? Even the water isn't moving. No, I was about to fly in. I'm not be the first one to photograph this.
Oh
And
my
I think
god.
it's another 2 years to be done.
That's
That is
crazy.
crazy. Um,
You wrote something in your, I think it was on your Substack, where you said that we're surrounded by images, perfect, endless, immediate, but something essential is missing.
Yeah.
When everything looks right, nothing feels true. So do you think the more perfect and polished everything becomes, the more people start craving imperfection and authenticity? Because
100%.
they don't want to be tricked like you were tricked in that one example, or like we have been as well. I
that
mean, I think
video.
everyone has a story about that
Yeah.
nowadays.
First of all, they don't want to be tricked, but I also I am very much into TikTok, so I don't post there, but I consume a lot. I kind of always build my algorithm in order to give me good content, uh, because I'm always a creative director. I'm always seeking the trends, and I also read that right now these fashion bloggers, these beautiful curated lives, have been massively unfollowed. which I'm not surprised about. We live in an economy that we millennials and Gen X, we are struggling financially. We don't have the perfect lives that were promised to us, or were promised by our parents, because now we can study, now the women have more power, now all of that, and then we get here and it's like, I cannot buy a house. I like, it's like I'm a freelancer and I have this stylish life. I'm not rich. I just do enough. And if we see then while struggling, we see these perfect lives of people that get everything for free, and for sure have a messy life behind the screen, but still post the most amazing stylish pictures. Yes, yes, they need to change their strategy, because that's not working anymore. It's a bit insensitive, I guess, right now. We need to be more aware of the political environment and the society that we're living in. So the friends that I have, I talk to them and I say, I know you make a business out of it, but be aware, you might not be able to make a business because the public is not connecting to it anymore, and I just feel it. But now, actually, the news, actually, we have big social media managers and people that really talk about trends, that this is the major wave that comes right now, is that people want pictures that are not edited. They want lives that are much more real. They want people to show their opinions instead of not having any opinion.
Yeah.
It's incredible. How
Yeah.
can we live in this planet without having an opinion? Yeah. So these things are changing, and AI is just accelerating them, I think.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I personally also feel like, because you used the word insensitive, and it is insensitive. It's also out of touch with reality for the majority of people, because not everyone is an influencer and has a jet set life.
I
But
don't agree
I
with
think
you. I,
before,
I don't them. I understand what it is. It's just,
yeah,
yeah, it's just the more you are in that bubble, the less you are in touch with the reality. And you can see that by the celebrities. You can see by the Met Gala. I
yeah.
was like,
Mm.
how?
I know, I was surprised how many celebrities, how nobody seemed to find it a problem that Jeff Bezos had like donated, what was it, like 3 billion or 3 million? I don't know, it was like an insane amount of
It was a
money that he donated. And everyone was like, he should be paying this in taxes, not like donating it to Mecca. And like all these celebrities just going there so out of touch with reality. And
Wasn't one even like protesting like some with a dollar bill, or was it like another gala? I don't even
I don't
know.
know, but it's just like, then the whole event is already out of touch. And then like the
completely.
another level of it, of having this billionaire donate a bunch of money, it's just like, it was insane to me as well to watch that going on.
But
I
do you guys
have
think?
I'm sorry. I have been feeling that for many years, but right now I feel like this wave it's really reaching the coast, and people are feeling that as well. And thankfully now they are verbalizing that this is irritating. This doesn't feel good, and this is just a little symptom of a soon revolution. We are getting angrier and angrier, and I'm just waiting for enough people to be angry.
Yeah, I think we're getting there. I think we are getting there.
I think so.
Yeah. Now I lost what I wanted to say.
Sorry.
I'm
That's
sorry.
fine. I don't think it was that valuable, so it's fine. Can just move. Well, I think that what we're seeing with AI, that it like creates this polished and, I would say, soulless, insensitive work, is kind of like what we have been fed for years. Like basically, um, we those lives were attainable. Like we no, not attainable. Sorry, more something that we wanted to attain. Like maybe not me specifically, but a lot of people were like looking up to the influencers and to stars. I feel like when we grew up, especially, like it was like so different to what like a star really was versus what it is now. And it was also something that you looked up to more, and something that seemed more authentic. Right now, it just doesn't seem authentic anymore. And I think that's where I like take my beef with it now. And also why I am personally craving more authenticity, and the people I follow are authentic, or at least they are loud with, and they have an opinion and they are loud and they have like an opinion that I share, or even opinions that I don't share, and I still like watching them because I don't know, I just like consuming different types of content. But do you think that all of this is like, what is all of this like a symptom of, in a sense? So I'm trying to be like curious of how I word the question, but like, what is all of this a symptom of? Like, how did we all become the same? How did all the content become the same? The visual language, the visual culture.
I can basically go about this topic from female perspective, and I think patriarchy, consequence of capitalism, it's very much the reason why we are looking very much the same. And I just want to point something that I just realized recently, that I put things out there even if they are uncomfortable. And this is just how I'm connecting the dots. We can see that women are, the feminist movement, this third wave has really bring results, if not in opportunities, at least in anger. And you can see by the amount of divorces that now exists, women have their own financial means, so they can live relationships at a rate that is higher than ever before. And then as an opposition of that, you can see the internet and consumption trends to giving more and more Botox, for example. So it's, if women are more and more angry, that means that they have more and more expression and have more and more opinions. But then patriarchy is like, oh, but you should do more Botox, because once you do more Botox, you have no expression. So
I never looked at it that way,
I
actually.
just saw a
just like,
TikTok about this
calm down.
yesterday. I literally just saw someone talking about this yesterday, and I was like, that's an interesting perspective I never thought about. And it's true, it's taking away our voices, because usually when something happens, like, your first reaction is in your face before you say anything. So not being able to show that reaction is also taking away the reaction from the person who's like opposite
100%.
you. So they can't
I'm
react accordingly
super,
either.
I'm super proud of those wrinkles, because I'm really mad a lot. I'm just confused when people are talking to me. So I will never get rid of those, because those are like, this is my autism wrinkles.
I don't have any. I don't think
I don't have
so.
those ones, but I get some up here,
I
which
have
is
them.
more of
41,
like,
you girls are much younger. Don't wait for them.
I mean,
I don't know.
I'm slowly getting there.
I'm
So
definitely
don't
getting
worry.
lines on my forehead, and I think it's. I guess I look more surprised than angry usually. But yeah, I do think it's an interesting. I mean, I think that plastic surgery and all the like beauty treatments are obviously fueled by patriarchy and expectations that beauty
100%.
expectations that have been taught to us, not something that we
And they are
wanted or
they are
came up
mostly
with.
performed by men, right?
Yeah, that
I don't know.
too.
I don't. It's not a conclusion. I just put questions out there.
Yeah, I mean,
I
probably.
made my
I
own
mean,
kind of assessment of the situation and how accessible it is, and how it's also in my group of friends, even women that don't want to do any plastic surgery, but it's like, oh, I have such big migraines. So, and I heard that Botox can fix my migraines. I'm like, so there's, I was like, not to say that they shouldn't, but there is for sure a pattern where please do more Botox, because then you have less expression, you are less uncomfortable. That's how I see it.
that kind of like opened my horizon to a different, like, or my perspective, not my horizon. I don't even know how to say that correctly. Well, okay, I'm like trying to find my way back into the algorithm world, because I think it's a really interesting world that we are in right now, where it kind of like content is curated, and I think that I don't just think about it. Content has always been curated. Like visual culture was always a curated culture, but now it's kind of like at a way different scale than it was before. Like back in the days, it was like museum curators, or maybe, yeah, like really back in the days, like what comes into museums, what comes into books. But now we have like, not everyone has like a curated feed on their phone, and it's like so interesting to see that where the visual culture like took us, like from where we went from the museums back then to where we landed now. And I'm curious to hear about your perspective of when we go a little bit back in time to what work got like awarded to be in museums and what work didn't, and how that kind of relates to the algorithms today. Is it like a very loaded question? I mean, it's a bit of a
No,
heavy question.
no,
No?
maybe
Okay, then
you
there
have
we
a low
go.
answer. Maybe it's more
Yeah.
the answer because I see that back to patriarchy again. Because you do have a male dominant area into the curators, into the owners of the museums, into the head of the museums. It's still a very male dominated field, and therefore it's more the same because the women are the ones that can bring more layers to it, because we as beings, we are so much more layered. We have so much more, even talking about hormones, phases in life, cycles,
Mm.
identities, and it's like when I was doing a work and somebody was like, oh, I need to change my brand, that I need to do a rebrand. This is so difficult. And I was not saying it because I was not that confident yet as an immigrant to say out loud, but I was like, women do that on a monthly basis. We need to rebrand ourselves. It's just,
So
it's fun
real.
branding. That's great. um, but yeah, I see, as long as the same people are in power, the same things are the outcome of it.
Hmm. You spoke about like layers that we
Mhm.
bring into the work. What do you mean there specifically?
Oh, so much, and I'm so thankful that now that so I now really say this is like something I introduce myself with, because I finally arrived here, which is I'm a woman. So when people ask me what do you do, I'm like, I'm a woman, I'm a mother, I'm an immigrant, and that's
It's like
already
the song. I
that's a
love it.
curriculum that is very hard to have already, with all the wisdom that creates. And then I have these also layers as a creative, and solving different problems in my career and fitting into different places. And then there's the layer of autism, of being neurodivergent, which basically I was diagnosed 2 years ago. I have been masking all my life, and masking is a layer, it's a facade, and this is wisdom that I was very hard to get rid of, and now I'm unmasked. But if I look back, I was like, wow, I have been doing it for so long. Where did I learn that? And then I ask around my group of women, and it's, they don't even need to be neurodivergent to mask.
Hmm.
Women, in order to fit in society, they mask, and this is already a layer of information that men don't have to do. How much more interesting is a person that know all of these things?
Yeah.
And then the fact that I made a human, and that human changed me as a human, and then I became a different person, and I'm creating a person. It's just like, sorry, man, you cannot do that. A lot of work, and just comes from the way we have been wired, and I'm very thankful to be wired like that.
Do you think that the way that we have been wired also affects how we act creatively, or how we are as a creative beings?
Yes.
If so, how?
Yes. I don't know yet how. This is something that I'm researching, and I do research now. I read a lot about the topics of care, freedom. So the value of care is something that always belonged to the women, and as a Portuguese woman, I have generations in my lineage of women that just perform love as responsibility and care for the man in the family. Was never an equal relationship, but it was seen as so. So I'm the first generation that I separated because there was no equal division of labor. I'm breaking the cycle in that sense, but I'm still figuring out why I, even being me, I fell into the same pattern, because that's in my lineage, that's in my genes. But as an example of now an exercise that I have been doing in order to learn more about um, behaving creativity, in terms of creativity in new ways as a woman, has been a group that I'm very proud to put together. It's called Matriarchy. So it's a new. So that's where you read the Substack. This is basically like an initiative that I started in Vienna end of last year. We launched it in February, and I launched it with a very clear intention. So basically, coming here with all this knowledge and all this wisdom and knowing how to do pitch decks and blah blah blah, super quick, I put together basically why you should be part of this group. And it was very convincing. And I had basically, and in 5 years, I had a plan what this Matriarchy would be. And then we all got together. We had different events. We even got a holistic coach that has been helping us with basically bring all this wisdom together and figuring out together what we want to do. And in that moment, I realized, wow, I'm going to completely forget the documents that I built with all the intentions and all the goals that I had for this project, because those are things that basically I know how to do, therefore are not new. And now, together with 40 women, I want to explore what is new, what has not been done, and that process needs to be very slow, very, very, very conscious, very, very present, with a lot of care, with a lot of love. And yeah, it has been a learning process for me to slow down and to unlearn everything that got me here.
Yeah, I feel like our culture right now is like very fast, very performance driven. Like everything needs to be like in a hurry. And it's like, and that's so interesting because once we get home, what do we do? Like I started like doing clay work, I play board games, like everything that's like tactile or
Yeah.
like getting me away from the screen where we just don't have to think. I'm just there, I'm doing something with my hands and kind of like reverting back to it from all this digital noise and performance driven work.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny where we return to.
Yeah. And it's also, I remember like when COVID happened, I remember everyone being like, the positive things that came out of it was the slowing down and being forced to like stay home
Eureka.
and
Yes.
and like do something with your time that didn't involve like rushing somewhere or being somewhere at a certain time and all that stuff.
Mm,
And it's like, it's so
I
funny
was
because
super thankful for COVID, I have to say, because
yeah.
things
yeah,
that
in
I did,
hindsight, yes.
I
For
Yeah.
stayed.
me, it was also a very nice time because I also didn't enjoy all this like social obligations, and then having that all fall away was very comforting. But and I think it's funny that we are aware as a society that that does us good. But then as soon as like everything opened up again, it was back to, productivity, status quo. And now we
100%.
have AI, which is just like a huge acceleration of everything again. And
Yeah.
we like don't seem to really learn from these experiences that where it's like we're aware and we learn, I guess, but we don't actually implement any of that knowledge.
Yeah.
It's like when you know something's not good for you, but you still do it because I don't know, you just can't get out of that cycle.
Yeah, well, and it's also just like the systems that are in place. Like we're not in control of that. And like you already mentioned, it's the patriarchy, it's capitalism, it's people in politics, it's all controlling, it's all controlled. Like algorithm is not fact that the algorithm has pushed this image onto us is nothing that happened accidentally. Like
I
all of
know.
that was
That's
intentional, and why, like, to keep us in this cycle of like having to perform, having to be like the people we see online, like getting the Botox and doing all this stuff. Like it's all
Getting the
intentional.
villa, becoming a
Or
millionaire.
like having the dream to buy a house, and then you like go to your 9 to 5 and you're working your job and you think like that dream's still possible, but obviously it isn't.
Mm.
There's
But
also the manosphere side of the algorithm as well. So you can see
yeah.
that the leaders are so obsessed with war, and then it doesn't seem so random that the algorithm pushes manosphere content to men. And now we talk about this how do you call it, they are very lonely right now, and it's a lonely epidemic. And I'm like, wow, you love to put you love to make it like scare people about something that is happening like a disease. It was like, no, it was all very much calculated. That's how I see it. And all these war games, all these things is just to prepare men that are lonely for war. And it's like, but why do we need war? Why do we need to prepare men for them? They also should be with the families. They also should stay at home. They shouldn't be lonely, but maybe they couldn't see beyond what was being fed to them. And for that, I have to say there's also a big difference when you're saying that some people go back to normal. Thankfully, I have therapy, and I had it like every week since my daughter was born, and I started before. And so as a person that my norm is to mask, when the world is very fast, I can be really fast because I can mask whatever around. And I need somebody like my therapist to check on me and say like, Anna, that feels normal, but
Chill.
that's
Yeah, are you okay?
what it is. And I'm so thankful for this work. I was like, I'm married to this woman. My therapist is my everything, is the reason why I'm here happy, because the world tells me not to be happy.
Yeah, like the world or like the culture is pushing a narrative onto all of us, and I think it's very brave to be like rebellious. And I think it also takes courage, and it's also extremely difficult to implement, considering we all need to like earn money. Like
Yeah.
we're still in this system where we need to earn money to survive. So it's like really difficult to get away from hyper productivity, hyper optimization. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Optimization.
Thank you. Culture. And like, since we talked so much about this, like this new visual culture that emerged, and us as creatives and designers, like from our perspective, first of all, having a play in it. I mean, we contributed to that. And second of all, still somehow needing to contribute to it, because this is how we make a living, especially in our field. It's very conversion driven, like the metrics are there. And like, how could someone implement like more of a slow, thoughtful process into their work while still staying profitable?
Yeah, it has been basically, my fight in the last years. And it's a fight that I have to say it's against. I have been fighting against patriarchy, and I had my male competition in my field. Right now it's architectural photography, and I'm not fighting for getting all the jobs and to be rich. I'm fighting to have good commissions that I can live with, because it's already a job that I know really well. Clients, through what I post and through what I say, trust my vision into things. So I kind of built already this status of artist, which I'm very thankful for, and therefore I go to projects without a briefing or without something that I had in commercial work for agency, and like there was no project starting without a briefing. And this has been for me a dream. Like every time new year and you make the goals, and my goals is to not have a briefing this year. This is aims is to have clients that just trust what I'm doing, and this it is happening for me because I have been consciously working on it. I also know branding, I also know how to position myself, so it's not just a coincidence. I have been really really working on it for the past years, but I'm still fighting on a daily basis with patriarchy, and there's a lot of jobs that I'm the most qualified for, that I have the most experience for it, and I still don't get it because there's a male competition on it, and some clients feel more safe if I have a male carrying all these guns, all this equipment, and so I am in a it's something that is possible. It's just harder for a woman.
I feel like that's kind of like the baseline for most things.
Yeah, everything in life.
That's a
I
very
want to show to my daughter that I had a very different thing. I wanted to be an artist. My parents were very scared, but I had good grades, so I went to architecture. Thankfully, I like. And now my job is to tell my daughter that being an artist if she wants to, it's the most amazing thing ever. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe she ended up being a dentist. I don't know. But in order to show, in order to encourage her to do that, I need to be it, which is basically everything that I don't tell her what to do. I showed her, not even to her. I just live my life in a way that I would like her to observe. So it's basically my benchmark is like, how would I like my daughter to see the world? And then I just work on my projects and on my goals and values in order to become that person. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Do you think, like, speaking of the younger generation, do you think that it's easier for creatives today who are starting out today to make changes like that and have more agency over how they work, who they work with and for, and if they have like the freedom? Or do you think it's less easy in the current state of things?
Yeah, I have an assistant, lighting assistant that is just like, I love working with her. She's 23, 24. I'm sorry, Eva, if I'm doing saying something wrong. I love working with her, and I love basically hear all of the know-how and how she basically the insights of how different her life is compared to mine. But she's still very much a feminist, coming from her mother. I see some other women younger in this generation that they don't understand why it's necessary. So I feel that in that sense they are a bit more detached or less aware. But I'm very much in the creative field, so there's more opportunities for women at the moment. But there's one thing that we haven't got there yet, which is how is the generation actually dealing with motherhood? They are not there yet, and that's going to be the ultimate test. Because I was not a feminist until I became a mother. I didn't give a shit. I was raised by a grandma that just did whatever she wanted. She was the matriarch of the whole village. She was just like, I didn't see any, yeah, she was not suppressed in any way. So for me, everything is possible because for my grandma, she did. The thing is that she didn't give a shit about opinions. She just did whatever she wanted. And so I did the same without even thinking. Just the granddaughter of my grandma, and I just arrive at meetings in Austria for a big project as a creative director, and people like, how did you end up here? I was like, I don't know, you tell me. Like I'm a fish. I am fish. I'm just following whatever. But the moment I became a mother, I was very aware of patriarchy. That's when it all hits. That's when I had a huge postpartum depression. That's where I really woke up for the world and like, wait, I was just not looking. The inequality was there. I was just very lucky with my naive mindset that I had been swimming in a way that I got wherever I wanted. But once I became a mother, I couldn't go anywhere. I was stuck. I had a woke partner that it was in the end the son of a father and behaved like the previous generation. So all those patterns, we can do a lot of blah, 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 and we can be very woke and go to therapy. But once something so animalistic, so intuitive happens as becoming parents, then it's all the truth comes out. Yeah, and then for men the test is more or less there, and then they have midlife crisis. So those are the tests to see how they are doing. For women, we have perimenopause, then menopause, then we keep on having tests and we keep on being reinventing. So very long answer to say that I think the new generation is doing really good, and I love hanging out with them because I feel very hopeful. But the big test is still to come.
Yeah, I think it all comes back to like what you were saying about women having a lot of layers and having to adjust a lot of the time, and men kind of just stay the same. Like their hormones stay the same. Like when they have become fathers, they stay the same. Their body
Oh,
stays the
yes.
same. Their
How
job stays the same.
possible?
Their schedules stay the same. Like everything
Life
stays the
doesn't
same.
change for a father. And this is
Yeah.
something that before you're a mother, you don't notice. After you're a mother, this is outrageous. Because your life changes in a way that you get mentally ill. and the man just whistles around and go to his job, and it's just like, no, I'm a fearless feminist from this point on. That's just one layer of this great adventure, and already made me super angry. So yeah, I'm not together with my partner, as you can hear from my voice.
I know, unfortunately, a lot of cases like that where women are like so convinced they're with the right person, and then they have a child and everything changes, and it like
Yeah.
really falls apart very quickly. So it's
Yeah.
really, it's true that that's a huge test for a generation to see if really how far they've really come in terms of like feminism and patriarchy and
I think
all
it
that.
never changed the perception of it. I think it never changed how what women have to deal with when this happens. I think what changes now the financial means that women have, and therefore the freedom of living. And that's something that I'm very, very happy about. But yeah, now we will see like this. I think is going to be the generation with more separated parents. I was not scared for my daughter because she goes to school and she's actually part of the mainstream. I think the kids with parents together, like in my generation, I knew which kids have separate parents. Right now, it's just like your parents are together. So
Wow, that's
let's
crazy.
see how this shift is gonna influence the next generation. So yeah, it's the positive thing is that we are changing things, because staying the way we were, not an option.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. How do we end this?
I could talk about this topic for days.
Yeah, and I really
True.
want to like
That's
once
why I
this.
now have much archive, because I decentered men completely almost 2 years ago. So I mostly hang out with women, and so these topics are very much the ones we constantly dive into and debrief and analyze and try to make sense of. Yeah.
Is matriarchive just creatives, or is it anyone who wants to be part of like the discussion?
So it will in I think long term will be much more open. But right now it is a close group that was based on my real friendships. So it's a group that was created by me, not because it's me, but because somebody had to do it. And
Yeah.
and talking to different women that experience different feminist groups, we decided that it's much stronger if we keep it small so the energy doesn't dissipate. So we know each other. We are very familiar. We basically meet in our apartments. We already go for coffees together, and once we are in a place where we feel like, okay, we have a clear goal, we have clear events that we want to do, we understand what the new actions that could be interesting to move forward with, then we will open up. But I see already a beautiful response when women came to me and I was like, can I please be part of it? And I'm like, yes, just join us. I love that. uh,
Um, yeah, that's really cool. So I want to end the episode on a question, just like talking to younger women, younger creative women who maybe feel similar to you in terms of like, wanting to move away from that fast-paced, conversion-driven world of the creative industry. What's some advice you can give to them, like something that they can change about what they're doing to make them feel like, yeah, feel maybe better or more balanced in the world that they have to kind of survive in.
First of all, hang out more with women. That's a matriarchy environment will automatically uh, make us slow down, because that's in our genes, that's in our history. We are the ones that did the craft before, and crafts needs time, needs patience, needs presence. um, the art came after with patriarchy, so the male artists, now it's an art, but before it's like things that needs a lot of wisdom to do. And those are in conscious or unconsciously, they are in the group of women, because we got it from our grandmas, from our mothers. I'm yeah Hang out with children. understand how magical they are, and how I learned, it's a cliche when you say that you learn a lot with your kids. But the thing is, my daughter, not because it's my daughter, but because she's a child and because she's leaving everything from for the first time. I don't need to hang out only with my daughter, but if I go to the Spielplatz and I just present and really observe and figure out the body movements of these kids, this is the way we all should be living in. But we forgot about it. We really forgot about it. And I totally understand that women don't have, my daughter was not planned. And I totally understand that women don't want to have kids. It doesn't need to be your kid, but please hang out with kids. Hang out with who you used to be when you were 5, 6, 3, because we forgot about it. And our inner child doesn't want to move faster. Your inner child wants to move slower and wants to observe everything and be curious about everything and ask questions, ask a lot of questions. We forgot how it is to ask questions. We move through the world being ashamed when we don't have an answer for something, because how come? You have access to everything. You should have that answer for everything. So we are ashamed of asking questions, but kids are not. Kids ask every kind of question. And therefore, I also started to ask every kind of question because, yeah, my daughter is a toddler. She's my role model. So I mimic what she does. And that's how I have been unmasking myself as well. And yeah, women have been oppressed for so long. We have to be brave. You have to behave. You have to. So yeah, by wearing colors, by speaking your minds, by doing whatever the fuck you want.
Love that.
Yeah, but
Different statement.
I love what you said about like the inner child, and also asking questions is so true. Like every time I hang out with a kid, all they're doing is just asking a million questions. And you don't even always have an answer to that, like an appropriate answer for them, but it like doesn't matter. And I think it's really good. Yeah, a good way to
Yeah.
go about things is like
Be curious, also.
stay curious, getting in touch with your inner child, being less curated as well.
Yeah, for
Less
sure.
masking.
I think one comes to the other. Once you are more childlike, you are more artist, you are less created.
Yeah,
And so,
definitely.
yeah, I believe all women are artists. I believe, and that's what I have been telling all my friends in Patriarchy. All of us are an artist in a way, if we manage to connect with our inner child, and women have better chances to do so because we are much more, present, and because we have been, and we are doing more therapy, we are more curious about mental health, and therefore, yeah, maybe we don't like. I don't need to fight anymore for feminism. Maybe it's happening automatically with this AI because we are anyway the ones that hold all this knowledge that is now necessary.
Yeah,
So
100%.
you can see and then send an invoice.
Yeah, always gotta make the money.
Just by seeing who we are, we can send invoices.
Yeah, that would be the dream. Thank you so much for joining us for this really engaging conversation. I always love talking about these kinds of things like feminism, patriarchy.
Yeah, I feel like almost in every episode we slip it in.
Yeah, it always comes in somehow. But it should. I mean, it's
Thank you
just
for that,
it's part of
though.
our lives, so it makes sense.
Cool. No, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.